Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So today I kind of wanted to do my first official update, I guess, as well as like choosing my new books for the month of December. So we're already a few days into December, so I do already have a couple of books that I did start to read. But I just kind of wanted to quickly share with you guys the books that I ended up reading and what I thought about them. So the first book is My Life in France by Julia Child. I personally loved this book so much. It made me, I don't know, have like a newfound respect for Julia Child herself and the love that she has for her husband and the love that she has for food and like French cooking and, you know, especially I guess, and just for her like workmanship. So like I was saying, I really do love this book so much. It is really interesting and it's not too big. Like, I mean, obviously that's how I literally will choose a book. Sometimes I'll look at the side, I'm like, maybe not, because sometimes it's just way too big for me to like get myself to start reading because I'm like, oh, it's so much. But anyways, besides that, I really love this book. I actually am gonna really quickly just look at my notes right now because I did take notes. Basically, Julia Child kind of just runs through her time in Paris with her husband Paul, and oh my god, I just love them so much. They're so cute together. They were so cute together. She talks about the ups and downs of their lives, and it's just so interesting because she literally gives, I don't know, it's just, she's so honest about everything, and I think that's so incredible. Honest about it. She's talks about their living situation, how he barely gets any money for working a government job in France and doing all this stuff, and how, I don't know, it was a really interesting book for me, at least in this time of my life. I thought it was really awesome, especially since, I mean, I've been like learning how to cook all these different things. I've been trying to make bread and cooking all these desserts, and I don't know, it was just a really, really interesting book for this time in my life where I'm constantly in the kitchen cooking and making things, and just, I don't know, it's a really interesting book. So I do think that if you guys are interested in reading about Julia Child's life, I don't know, I really do recommend this book. It is so interesting and it was actually a really fun read. I mean, obviously the ending was a little bit sad because everyone was passing away that they knew. Everyone was having a sort of a hard time living their lives. I don't really know how to explain it, but because they're getting older and stuff like that, but I do recommend this book. It's really good. So moving on to the next book is I Am Malala. So I don't know why, but it seems to be bright as hell. So the next book is I Am Malala, and this is written by Malala Yousafzai, I think. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyways, I really enjoyed this book. It was so interesting. This is the Young Readers edition, so I do think that it was less graphic. Just hearing her story and like, I don't know, I just think it's so interesting, and I'm so like, she's so admirable. She's so like strong, and just her always wanting to fight for women's rights, and I don't know, it's just you just take so much for granted. Before I get emotional about this, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is a really, really good book, and I do recommend reading it. I do want to pick up the normal edition and not the Young Readers edition, so I can read that one and see what the difference is. And yeah, so I really recommend this book. It's so interesting, and I am here for it. And yeah, so I highly recommend this book as well. It was a really good one, and yeah. So the next book is actually an audiobook, so I'll put the picture right here. I really like this. This was Sweet Damages by Rebecca James, and I really liked this. So I got an audiobook version of it, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know, I think it was like, I think I like the fact that I didn't know where this book was going. I didn't read the description. I didn't read anything about it. I just clicked on a random audiobook and I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Like, I don't think I'm that in love with it, but I do think that if you guys are like interested in listening to anything and you just need whatever, I think that'd be a really interesting one. It's basically this guy goes and lives with this girl because you know, she has a big old house, and he is broke, so he can, like, she's charging very little amounts of, you know, money for rent, and he basically needs that, and they end up like slowly getting to know each other. She can't leave the house. I can't remember what the word is called, but she can't leave the house basically, and so it's just really hard for her to deal with all these things, and then you figure out why, like slowly you start to figure out why she can't leave the house, all of her like past life and what happened to her, what happened to cause all of this, and then basically you just get a side of his, like the guy's side of the story, and then her side of the story, and then like you just figure out at the end, and then they're like a little cute couple, but there's like a big old spin, and I'm not gonna spoil it. So if you guys are really interested, then I really do think like, whatever, go listen to it. I thought it was a really good one because I didn't realize at all where the book was going. I don't know why. I wasn't thinking about where it was going. I was just listening to the words, and when it went there, I was like, ooh, okay, that works, I guess. And it was a pretty interesting book, I'm not gonna lie. So the next one is actually another audiobook, so I'll just put that right here. It is Broken by Kelly Elliott. Personally, if you guys watched my reading vlog, you'll probably know I didn't love this book. So it was fine. Like, I got into it after like the first 15-20 minutes. I was like, okay, whatever, fine. I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. I wanted to die. Most of the time I wanted to like I was just like, ew, this is uncomfortable for me. I don't know if it was like the fake Southern accents or if it was the storyline. I don't know, but I really didn't love it too much. So basically, yeah, I don't know. I was having a really hard time listening to it, and I was like, okay, whatever. But towards the end, they left it off with starting the second book, which is actually about the best friend, and I was like, oh, I really like the best friend, so I'll try and read that one. So I'm gonna say I don't recommend Broken by Kelly Elliott, but I did end up trying to listen to Broken Dreams by Kelly Elliott, which is the second book to Broken. No, I don't recommend this book either. I think I have an issue with the way the author uses character development. No, not character. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna say it because you know what? I have a very strong opinion on it. So I don't like that the author seems to only feel like the only way she can make a girl be like a female character be herself or grow into herself is by suffering sexual abuse or any type of abuse for that matter. Not everybody needs to have an assault story or this story, and it doesn't need to be some defining moment in their lives. Like, it's horrible to use that as a plot, you know, as always. Like, I literally was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Another story that's just exactly like the last one we just listened to. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna stop right there because I don't want people like hating on me because I feel strongly about this. So basically I just don't like sexual assault and abuse being used as the only form of character development for females. So I just didn't end up finishing it. I did say I finished it on Goodreads, but only because I wanted to write a review, which I still have yet to do for Broken Dream. But I will go ahead and just go on to my next book. So my next book is Absolute Brightness by James Lissance. I personally love this book. I was having a hard time getting into it, if I'm being honest, because I started reading this 2 or 3 times, I think, and I just never actually finished it. And I never got past chapter 3, I think, and that was a really frustrating thing for me. But seeing as this was like, I don't know, it was on my list, and I was like, oh, it's a little big, but I was like, whatever, I'll go and I'll try and read it. So I tried reading it at home, and I was getting stressed out, so I was like, let me go. I was getting like claustrophobic, I don't know. So I was like, let me go to a coffee shop and start reading this. And then 2.5 hours later, I was like, oh my god, I've been here for so long. And so I literally read half of this book. Well, actually more than half. I think I only had like 2 chapters left by the time I got home. And I was hooked. Okay, I'm not gonna give you, well, I guess I'll give you a little bit of a snippet, but I'm gonna give you possibly a spoiler, and I don't want that. So if you guys want to read this book, Sorry guys, I just got a phone call and it kind of disrupted my video. So basically I am gonna give you guys a little bit of a snippet of the story, and it does, okay, I'm just gonna put spoiler, okay? Spoiler alert. So basically there is this teenage boy, who's not even a teenager, he's a preteen, and he is, we're not sure of his sexuality. I mean, like, he never really defines it. He always says, like, it is what it is, you know, and whatever, like, it's whatever. He is flamboyant is all. And so he ends up moving in with his stepfather's sister, who has two young girls who are honestly a-holes. And I don't really love them, but whatever. I mean, I understand. It's a different, you know, vibe, and you've never been around somebody who's so flamboyant. I get it, whatever. But they're kind of harsh. Leonard, the kid, yeah, he is just so open and, like, I don't know, he's just so friendly and, like, nice, and he'll tell you what he wants. He's very, like, flamboyant and absolutely, like, adorable in my mind. And he does all these things, right? But something happens to him, okay? He goes missing, and basically it's just one of the sisters, well, I mean, one of the girls is basically telling the story after that point. So, or actually she's been telling the story the whole time, but basically she'll just start talking about his disappearance and then everything that happens afterwards. And it's a really good book, and I really think that you guys should read this if you are interested in the LGBTQ community, if you are a part of it, or if you are an ally. I really recommend this book because it's kind of sad, it's really sad, but it's also really good, and it's a really good read in my opinion, and I do think I'll pick this up again in the future. I don't know, I liked it, so I recommend it. The next one is 100 Best Loved Poems. I'm not so this is by Philip Smith. This one is edited by Philip Smith, which is, I mean, he just edits different poems. I like this. It's just, as always, like, I just like to read poem books. So I do recommend this if you like poems. They have a big selection of, like, a stack full of different types of poem books from Amazon. I'll try to link it down below, but I don't know. I got this one like 5 years ago, so I don't know if it'll still be there. So the last book that I listened to on a podcast, on an audiobook, not a podcast, I'm obsessed with podcasts, sorry, was the Scythe series, the first book from the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. Oh my god, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love, and I'm trying to, I'm on hold at the library for Thunderhead for the second book in the Scythe series. Oh my god, my mind is blown. I'm absolutely obsessed with that series already. It is so good. I love the way that the writing seems to be. Everything is just, like, it tied together, and everything was just so good. I'm sounding like such a dork right now. I'll put it up here. I loved it. I am literally so excited to read the second book and then the third book, which is The Toll, and I'm so excited. I feel like such a geek right now, but I'm so, like, I want to talk to my husband about it, but he won't listen to it and he won't read it. And I'm just like, anybody else who, if you guys have read it or if you want to read it and you're reading it or whatever it is, just talk to me about it, because I need somebody to talk to me about it, because I'm gonna lose my mind, honestly. There are 2 additional books I actually want to talk about that I did end up reading, but before my last update, so yeah. The first one was Great Short Poems by Paul Negri. I, again, just love poem books, and it's very tiny, and there's not a lot of pages. I think it's like 60 pages, 54 pages. So if you guys are interested in that, then go for it. But I do love poem books, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys, and I did read it, so I want to throw it in here a little bit. The next book is I Am That Girl. I have read this so many times. It is by Alexis Jones, and I absolutely love this book. I use it as a motivational thing for me all the time. I have so many, like, different marked pages, which I don't think you guys can see, but, like, I have marked pages in here. I have, like, little bookmarks in them, and it's not a huge book, especially for the way that the writing is. Like, I don't know, some of them, I don't know. It's a really good book. I really think it's a great book. It's also a great nonprofit, and I'm gonna go ahead and link I Am That Girl the website down below. It is basically just about empowering girls, and it's just, I don't know, it's really nice. I've had this book for I think like 5 or 6 years maybe. I got this right when it was released, and I don't know, I think it's been like 5 or 6 years, but I really love this book. It is amazing, and I definitely recommend it, especially if you are a female, but I definitely also recommend it if you are a man, because it's a nice book. I mean, my husband has like read snippets. He is interested in reading this because he thinks that like there's a lot of advice in here that can also relate to a man. Like, it's not that big of a deal, just change the gender if that worries you so much. Okay, so now we are done with the books that I did end up reading, these ones as well as some of the audiobooks, and I just have to say I love them all, and I am so excited to start my next stack of books. Okay, so my first book that I am going to put onto my list is Stephen King's Cujo. I started this book last night, so basically I haven't read this in the past like 4 or 5 years, and I needed to. So I'm finally putting it in to my TBR for the month of December, and I think I can do it. I'm honestly like, this is an interesting book already, and I'm only on page 20. I'm literally only on page 20, and I'm so obsessed with it already. I'm like, I was just thinking about it all last night, but hopefully I'll get to some more tonight, and then I can go and start reading it in the month of December, and yeah. So the next book is actually The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. So this bookmark was from where I left off last time, and I think I want to start over again because I started reading it again from here, and it was just, I don't know. It just felt like I was missing out on a few details because I couldn't remember them. But I do think I'm gonna start over, and then yeah, I'll start with The City of Bones, and then I have the rest of, well, not the rest, but like a few more of the Shadowhunter series. I think I have like 6 of them until the Bane Chronicles, and then I need to get more. And then I have 2 more Dover thrift books. So let's start by The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. So it's just a small little book that has, it's about 50 pages of Robert Frost poems, and again, I love poems, so I'm just gonna read this and put it in, I'm gonna take it from my TBR and then put it in my read pile, and yeah. So I think that's pretty simple, I guess. There's also this Dover Thrift Edition thing edited by Joanne R. Sherman, which is African American poetry from 1773 to 1927. I am looking forward to reading this because I don't recall reading anything that I was aware of that was African American poetry. So the next one is actually Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is actually my sister's book, and I don't know how it ended up with me, but when she comes here, I'll give it to her. I just want to read it though. But it doesn't actually, it seems like it's going to be an easy read because it's just poems with a lot of photos, and it's beautiful. And it's not, I don't know, but I think it's going to be awesome. I'm kind of looking forward to reading this because it's so, I don't know, it's mesmerizing. The photos in here are mesmerizing, and I'm interested in them, so yeah. The next book is actually a book that I'm not sure about. I mean, okay, so it's Black Like Me by John Howard Griffin, who is a white man who took medication to pigment his skin to be a darker shade in the 1950s, and basically he was a white man who turned himself black so he could get information on how, basically so he can live and see how it was to be a black man. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, like, this is my husband's book, and I don't know if he's actually ever read it, but for me, I was reading reviews to see if this should be on my TBR for this month, and honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about it already, because maybe what he did was, you know, maybe this book is amazing. Maybe it shows the struggle and the pain that Black men and Black women have. Maybe it shows the pain that they've been through and the struggles that they constantly had to go through, especially in the 1950s. But I don't know. I was reading a lot of reviews that were saying, oh, he's such a strong man for doing this. And they were praising him for being a black man by choice. And I was just like, I don't know, it made me kind of mad, not gonna lie. I don't know, it made me really mad, but honestly, there's not much I can do about it, besides read it and, you know, see what, I don't know, they were just praising him for living as a Black man when there were other, I don't know, like a part of me feels like there were other authors who wrote about being Black in the 1950s, so why not read from an actual Black person? I don't know, but I don't know if I'm just overthinking this, but I am gonna read this and see how I feel about it, and hopefully it's good. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys have read it, please tell me what you guys thought of it, because so far I haven't read anything about it. Like, I've just read reviews and I was just trying to get a grasp of like what was going on and whatever, but people just seem to be praising him for being a fake Black. I don't know. So I'm gonna move on to All the Lights We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. So this is a pretty hefty size in my opinion, but I did a poll on on Instagram and a lot of people said this book, so like to read this book next, and so I'm gonna start it. I think I started it a little while ago, but I didn't get very far. So this is gonna be on my TBR. I remember reading the back a little bit and I just got the idea of it being in Paris when the Nazis invaded and just a person going through all of that struggle. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what's gonna be happening here, but I am pretty excited to read this book. Hopefully I can get through all of these books though, because oh my god. Anyways, I am hoping that in December, Thunderhead from the Side series will be available in my library. So if Thunderhead, the second book from the Side series, is in my library, then I will also add that to my list of books here, and that will probably take priority if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, so I don't know, that was pretty much it, I guess. If you guys have any questions or if you want to join this project at TBR, pan those books type of vibe, I guess, I don't know, then please let me know, or just go ahead and do it and let me know down below if you guys are going to upload anything or if you're joining at all. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I think I'm going to be uploading my weekly vlog a week after this one, or after this update, so hopefully you guys can stay tuned for that one, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!